Some nights the path ahead feels strangely dim, even when the room is lit and the world appears ordinary. The mind looks back over the day, over choices made, over decisions still waiting at the edge of tomorrow. And there is a quiet ache inside, a wondering if the next step will be sure or stumbling. There are evenings when questions rise like mist from the ground. Will the way be clear? Will the turns be gentle? Will the heart know where to place its weight? Or will it walk into darkness without a guide? On nights like this, the soul can feel like a traveler standing at the beginning of a narrow road. The sky dark, the way unknown, longing for even the smallest glow to show which stone to step on first. Longing for a lamp, close to the feet, gentle and near. Take a slow, deep breath. Let air move in like a calm tide, then drift out again in a soft, quiet wave. Let the shoulders loosen, as if a heavy cloak is sliding from them and settling onto the ground. Let the jaw release, the tongue rest softly, the brow smooth, as though a warm hand is passing gently across the face. Notice any tightness beneath the ribs, and allow it to soften, as if a lantern is being lit inside the chest, its gentle light warming the spaces that felt cold and tense. Let the noise of the day slide to the edges of awareness, like distant footsteps fading down a long corridor, leaving this moment still, unhurried, safe. If these stories bring you peace, take a moment to like this video, subscribe for more nightly reflections, and share where you're listening from tonight. Your words and presence help keep this space warm and growing. Now, take another slow breath. Let's begin. Night settles over an ancient road, stretching like a dark ribbon through the hills. The sky is deep and wide, a quiet canopy of shadow and starlight. The air carries the coolness of stone and earth, the faint scent of dry grass and distant trees. Somewhere far away a dog barks once. Then silence returns, thick and gentle. Along this road walks a solitary traveler, cloak wrapped close, sandals brushing dust from the path. In one hand a small oil lamp burns, its flame no larger than a thumbprint, its circle of light hugging the ground just ahead of each step. Beyond that circle, the world is mystery, shapes blurred, edges hidden. The traveler cannot see far, cannot know every turn of the road, cannot measure the distance to morning. Only one thing is clear: the small patch of earth just in front of the feet, lit by the lamp that flickers but does not fail. In the quiet of the heart, a line of ancient prayer whispers like a breeze through olive branches. A lamp to the feet, a light to the path. Words once spoken in another night, by another soul who knew what it meant to walk through uncertainty, and still trust that God would place light exactly where it was needed. No sooner, no farther, but always enough. The traveler's steps match the rhythm of that promise. One small circle of light. One small step. Again and again. Never the whole road. Never the distant horizon. Just this stone. Then the next. Held gently in a golden glow. There is a quiet comfort in this kind of guidance. It does not rush. Does not overwhelm. Does not demand that the heart understand everything at once. Instead, it comes like lamplight at ankle height, close to the dust, intimate, personal, showing where not to trip, where not to slip, where to rest the weight of a tired body next. The God who gives this light does not stand far away, pointing into the darkness with a distant torch. The light is near, at the feet, beside the traveler, near enough that every step is shared, every uneven stone known, every small fear understood. Inside the one listening tonight, there is also a road, sometimes clear, sometimes clouded, lined with decisions, questions, quiet aches. The heart may not see far ahead, may long for a map that stretches from this moment all the way to the horizon. Yet the promise woven into this story is gentle and sure. There is a lamp already spoken over this journey, a light already offered to every trembling step, a presence that does not demand sight of the whole path, only trust for the space illuminated now. Take another slow breath. Let it rise into the chest like a soft glow, then fall again in a long, unhurried exhale. Let the spine find a comfortable curve. Let the head rest heavy on pillow or cushion, as if the earth itself is a patient friend, holding all weight without complaint. Imagine a small lamp being placed near the feet of the heart, its flame steady, its light warm and close, revealing not the distant future, but the next safe step, the next gentle choice, the next place where rest can be found. Rest is not earned by perfect direction, not granted only when every decision has been flawless. It is a gift, placed like a lamp into tired hands by a God who understands how heavy the road can feel, and how precious small circles of light truly are. In this quiet beginning, one simple truth glows softly at the center of the story. The path does not need to be fully seen for the heart to be fully loved. The future does not need to be clear for God to be near. The traveler is not alone in the dark, and the one listening is not alone either. For the same faithful light watches both the ancient road and the inner road of the soul. Let the breath slow just a little more. Let the thoughts drift like dust settling back to earth. Let the body feel cradled by the night. Calm, unhurried, gently guided by a lamp that never leaves the feet it loves. Night deepens over the ancient road, settling like a soft blanket over stones that have known centuries of footsteps, shepherds, wanderers, and weary hearts seeking direction. The traveler walks slowly, not from fear, but from a kind of reverence, aware that the small lamp in hand is more than a tool. It is companionship, guidance, quiet assurance that the path is not abandoned to darkness. Its glow widens just enough to brush the dust ahead, illuminating a few scattered pebbles, the faint outline of a curve in the path, the glimmer of a dry leaf caught in a breath of wind, nothing more, just enough. As the traveler moves, another image begins to form quietly in the story. Far earlier that evening, before the sky turned the color of deep ink, before the hills lost their edges to shadow, a teacher once walked this same kind of path, not with crowds gathered around him, not with miracles or proclamations, but simply, quietly, moving through evening's hush toward a place of prayer. His steps were slow, unhurried, steady. He carried no lamp, yet the light within him was enough to guide the road. Enough to show him where to place his feet. Enough to reveal the next turn without revealing the whole journey. The traveler does not know this story, yet somehow feels its echo, a sense that this road has been walked before by one who trusted the Father completely, not knowing every detail of what would unfold, but certain that the one who called him forward would give light for each step, each moment, each breath. The traveler pauses, lifts the small lamp slightly, watches how its glow touches the ground with tender clarity, how it reveals the uneven edges of the path, how it softens stones that once seemed harsh, how it turns darkness into something gentle, manageable, almost friendly. It is here, on this quiet road, that the story turns toward a deeper truth. Guidance from God rarely comes in sweeping brightness. It comes in small, intimate glimmers, moments of knowing, whispers of peace, tiny shifts inside the heart that feel like someone placing a hand softly between your shoulders and saying, "This way, this is safe, step here." A memory rises from the traveler's childhood, a time when the villages were struck by sudden storms, when the sky would bruise purple and thunder rolled like ancient drums. He remembers how his father would gather the children in the center of the home, lighting a single lamp while the winds howled and the world shook outside. The storm still raged, the walls still trembled, but that small circle of light, warm, steady, protective, made the fear less sharp, made the chaos feel distant, made the darkness less intimidating. It was the first time he understood something without having words for it. Light doesn't need to remove the storm to make the heart brave enough to endure it. This memory now slips gently toward the heart listening tonight. You may not see far right now. You may wish the whole path were visible. You may long for clarity that reaches beyond tonight's shadows. But there is a lamp already burning, a guiding presence already near your feet, a soft glow that shows what you need for this moment, not for all moments, but for the next step, and then the next. Breathe slowly, let the air slide in like a calm tide, then drift out in a long, soft exhale. Let the heart loosen, let the mind soften its grip on distant worries. Let the body rest a little deeper into the safety of this quiet night. For the God who lit the path for travelers long ago is the same God who lights the inner road of your soul tonight. He has not left you in darkness. He has not asked you to navigate the whole journey alone. He gives light for the feet before asking for trust for the horizon, a lamp for what is now, a glow for what is near, peace for the step directly beneath your weight. As the traveler walks forward, the small light continues to reveal just enough ground to keep going, and that is all the heart needs sometimes. Not a map of every turn, not a torch that banishes all shadows, just a lamp to the feet, a companion for the road, a promise that God's guidance will meet you exactly where you are, exactly when you need it. Let the breath slow once more. Let your thoughts drift like dust settling back onto the road. Let the night cradle you in a quiet assurance that you are guided, even if only step by step. The night deepens into a gentle velvet hush, the air cooler now, The quiet so complete it feels like a soft hand resting over the earth, encouraging it to breathe more slowly, more peacefully. The traveler continues along the ancient path, lamp held low, its small flame swaying with each careful step, and with every movement, dust rises softly from the ground, drifting upward like tiny golden particles caught in the glow, disappearing again into the darkness beyond the lamp's reach. Footsteps in the dust. There is something intimate about them, something fragile, something honest. Each print is a moment, a choice, a record of the steps taken with faith rather than certainty, and the traveler begins to notice them, noticing how the dust gathers in soft patterns around each step, how even the smallest movement becomes a gentle impression in the earth, how the lamp does not illuminate far ahead, but illuminates enough to give meaning to each footprint as it appears. The way remains hidden beyond the circle of light, yet the ground directly beneath the traveler's feet feels known, lit by a glow that is never late, never early, always arriving at the exact moment it is needed. The traveler pauses, sensing something sacred in this rhythm. The path stretches forward into darkness, but the lamp gives shape to the next breath of a step, and then another, and another, each one clear only when the foot is ready to move. A memory surfaces from deep within the traveler's heart, a time in childhood when he walked beside an elder through a forest at dusk. The elder carried a lamp almost identical to the one he holds now, and as they walked, he noticed that the elder never lifted the lamp high, never tried to reveal the entire forest. He kept it close to the ground, near their feet, and every time the child asked what lay ahead, the elder would simply smile and say quietly, "We walk with what we're given. Step by step is enough." Those words come back now with a tenderness that warms the chest. Step by step is enough. Light for the feet is enough. One small circle of glow is enough. This is how God guides, not by flooding the whole landscape with brilliance, but by offering a lamp at ankle height, close enough to walk without fear, soft enough to quiet the heart, gentle enough to teach trust in the one who holds the larger view. Another image forms in the night. The traveler lifts the lamp slightly, watching how its glow reveals stones that might trip a hurried foot, roots that twist across the path, a patch of sand that requires slower movement. These small revelations feel like tiny mercies, guidance that does not overwhelm, direction that does not demand rushing, a way made safe not by removing obstacles, but by revealing them gently in the right moment. This part of the story now turns to the heart listening in the quiet of tonight. There have been moments in your life where the path felt unclear, where you could not see beyond the next decision, where the future held more questions than answers, where taking even one step felt daunting. But if you look closely, gently, patiently, you may notice that each step you did take was lit just enough for that moment, not for all moments, not for the distant horizon, but for the ground directly beneath your feet. There were times when God revealed only the next word to speak, the next action to take, the next place to rest, the next heart to comfort, the next boundary to set, the next breath to release. And that was enough, light for the feet, not the entire road. Take a slow breath now. Let it move into your chest with the same quiet steadiness as a lamp's gentle glow. Then let it fall away in a long, soft exhale. Feel the body soften, feel the breath ease, feel the heart settle into a slower rhythm. Imagine your own footprints appearing in soft dust, each one illuminated only when you are near enough to take it. Notice how peaceful that feels, to not have to see everything, to not need to understand all at once, to simply trust the soft lamplight warming the path beneath your feet. Footstep, breath, soft glow, a simple rhythm, a holy rhythm, one the Father has walked with you through every unseen curve of your life. The traveler continues, step by step, dust rising quietly beneath each movement, the lamp lighting just enough, always enough, never failing, never leaving the feet in darkness. Let the breath slow a little more. Let your thoughts dim like the edges of the path. Let the night cradle you in this tender reassurance. Step by step is enough, and the lamp that guides you is steady, faithful, near. The night settles deeper over the ancient road, wrapping everything in a soft blue hush, a quiet so complete it seems to breathe with the traveler's own slow rhythm. The lamp glows low to the ground, its light brushing gently across the stones and sand, revealing small, sacred details one at a time. And as the traveler continues, the truth of what illumination really is begins to unfold. Light that arrives slowly, softly, showing not the whole world, but the next few heartbeats of the journey. The path is uneven, shifting between smooth patches of worn stone, loose grains of sand, small roots creeping onto the trail. Yet the lamplight makes each texture visible just in time, not ahead of time, but in time. The traveler notices this, how the glow expands only when needed, how it stretches itself a little farther when the ground becomes uncertain, how it narrows into a smaller, gentler circle when the path becomes smooth again. It is a light that responds, a light that moves with the steps, a light that understands the terrain better than the traveler does. A memory rises quietly from the traveler's heart, a memory of watching his mother mend clothing in the evening. She would sit near the open doorway as twilight settled, leaning close to a lamp that cast just enough light for needle and thread. He used to ask her why she didn't light a larger torch, why she didn't fill the whole room with brightness. Her answer had been simple: too much light makes the eyes strain. Gentle light helps you focus on what's right in front of you. That memory returns now with a tenderness that warms the chest. The traveler understands something deeper. Sometimes God gives only gentle light not because he withholds clarity, but because the soul is meant to focus on this step. Not all steps, this moment, not every moment, this small task, not the entire future. Soft light keeps the heart from trying to see everything at once. It teaches trust. It teaches presence. It teaches the soul to move with calm, rather than rush with fear. The traveler continues forward, watching the lamplight slide across the ground like warm honey poured over stone. The glow reveals a bend in the path. The stones soften into a sandy stretch, and the traveler feels a quiet gratitude rising. Not because the way is easy, but because it is illuminated with just enough tenderness to keep moving without fear. Another image forms, gentle and slow. A lamp held too high casts long shadows. It makes distant things appear more frightening than they are. But a lamp held low, near the feet, restores peace, softens edges, casts shadows away from the eyes, and reveals only what is safe, what is needed, what is manageable for the heart. This part of the story leans toward the one listening now, speaking softly into the spaces where worry may have tightened, where uncertainty may have gathered like dusk. There are moments in life when the soul begs for a torch, for a flood of brightness, for a full map of what comes next. But God often gives gentle light, soft light, light that shows only what the heart can bear today. Not because he is distant, but because he is kind. Too much clarity can overwhelm, too big a picture can frighten, too bright a light can exhaust the spirit. So he gives just enough, so you don't have to carry what tomorrow holds, so you don't have to strain your eyes trying to understand everything, so the heart can focus on the step beneath it, the breath within it, the peace that is possible in this single moment. Take a slow breath now. Let it fill the lungs like soft warm air drifting from a nearby lamp. Then exhale, letting tension release from the shoulders, from the neck, from the quiet places beneath the ribs. Let the body feel supported by the night, held, cradled, safe. Imagine the lamp in your own hand, its glow touching the ground, revealing small details that comfort the spirit. A stone you won't trip over, a gentle turn you wouldn't have seen without light, a patch of sand where your step will need to slow, just enough guidance, just enough peace, just enough light. The traveler walks on, not with haste, not with fear, but with a quiet confidence that grows stronger with each illuminated step. A trust that light will meet him exactly where he needs it, even if he cannot see beyond the next few breaths. Let the breath deepen again. Let the night soften around you. Let the truth settle into the heart like warm lamplight pooling around tired feet. You do not need more light than you have. What you are given is enough. What you see is sufficient, and the one who guides you knows just how slowly, just how gently, the light should arrive. The night settles into an even deeper quiet, the kind of stillness that feels almost like a gentle hand resting on the road itself, calming the dust, softening every edge, inviting the traveler to breathe slower, step quieter, trust deeper. The lamp in the traveler's hand glows steadily, its flame bending gently with each subtle breeze, illuminating only a few steps ahead, and in that soft circle of light, a quiet truth becomes clear. The lamp shows just enough, not the whole road, but the next safe step. The traveler pauses for a moment, lifting the lamp higher. The glow expands a little, but only a little. Beyond that, the darkness remains, thick, deep, unbroken. No matter how high the lamp is held, the future stays veiled, the horizon hidden, the far-off turns unrevealed. So the traveler lowers the lamp again, closer to the feet, where its glow is warmest, where its guidance is clearest, where the light becomes personal, intimate, comforting. There is a soft relief in this gesture, as though the soul recognizes the truth it has been resisting, that God never intended his children to see the entire journey at once, only enough to take one step with confidence, then another, then another. A memory stirs within the traveler, a night long ago when he accompanied his uncle through a narrow canyon path. The canyon walls were tall, rising like dark cliffs on both sides. The path beneath was uneven, every noise echoed, every step felt fragile. His uncle carried a lamp, but kept it low to the ground. The child, frightened, asked, "Why can't we light the whole canyon?" His uncle had answered with a softness that calmed the trembling heart. "If the whole canyon were bright, you'd stare at the distance and miss the stone in front of you. Light near your feet keeps you safe." That memory returns now, warm and instructive. The traveler realizes how often the mind wants to see miles ahead, wants certainty, wants full understanding, wants reassurance that every decision will lead somewhere good, but the heart, gentle and human, can only hold so much at once. Too much light becomes overwhelming, too much knowledge becomes heavy, too much visibility becomes distraction. So God gives a lamp, not a torch, not a blazing fire, just a lamp. A small, faithful flame, a glow that encourages presence, focus, slowness, trust. The traveler steps forward again, this time with less tension, less resistance to what is unknown, more acceptance of the gentle invitation. Walk the ground you can see, and leave the rest in the hands of the one who sees all. The path bends slightly. The light reveals a few scattered stones that can be stepped over, a patch of sand that slows the pace naturally, a smooth area ahead where ease returns, just enough to make the next step feel safe, just enough to chase away fear, just enough to remind the traveler that the darkness beyond the glow is not empty. It is simply waiting to be illuminated in its own time. This part of the story now leans tenderly toward the heart listening tonight. There may be parts of your own path that feel hidden, decisions you cannot yet make, questions without answers. worries that linger at the edges of your awareness, parts of the future that feel dark or uncertain. But you have never been asked to carry the whole road. You have been asked to trust the next step, to follow the soft glow that meets you where you are, to move gently with the light you have been given, to rest in the knowledge that what is unseen is not unsafe, it is simply not needed yet. Take a slow breath. Let it move into your lungs like warm lamplight pooling beneath your ribs. Then exhale, letting tension melt from your shoulders, letting your hands soften, letting the forehead smooth, letting the heart release its grip on what lies beyond your reach. Imagine yourself as the traveler, holding a lamp that glows with quiet certainty, lighting the earth just in front of your feet, revealing each stone only when you are close enough to step over it, showing each gentle rise and curve exactly when you are ready to face it. This is how God guides, softly, slowly, faithfully, never overwhelming your vision, always offering just enough to take the next step. Let your breath become slower still. Let the night envelope you in its quiet embrace. Let the peace of just enough settle into your chest, warm and steady, like a lamp held close, lighting the ground exactly where your feet will rest. The night has grown heavier around the ancient road, not threatening, just deeper, quieter, a darkness that feels alive with stillness rather than fear. The traveler walks on with the small lamp held low, its glow steady but delicate, like a warm pulse against the vast, cool air. And though the light remains faithful, something begins to stir in the surrounding shadows. A soft awareness, a quiet realization. Shadows gather at the edge of the path when the road narrows. It happens slowly at first. The trail begins to tighten. The ground draws closer to the rocky hillside. Tall shapes rise on either side, casting longer, darker silhouettes that sway gently with the wind. The traveler feels it, not danger, but uncertainty, a subtle tightening of the breath, a faint ache just beneath the ribs, a whisper inside that wonders if the light will be enough in this narrow place. The lamplight touches the stones near the feet, but beyond that, the shadows deepen, not with malice, only with mystery, darkness that holds its breath, waiting, watching, silent. The traveler pauses, listening to the quiet around him, the soft scrape of sand under his sandals, the distant call of a night bird, the gentle sway of branches above, but no voices, no sounds of threat, nothing except the deep quiet of a road that has guided many wanderers before. A memory rises, one from the traveler's youth. He once walked through a narrow gorge with other children. The path then, too, had grown tight, pressed between tall cliffs, shadows gathered there in thick patches, and he remembered the trembling in his chest, the urge to run, but then the voice of a gentle elder had spoken behind him. Shadows are only shapes without light. Stay close to what you can see. Those words echo again now. Shadows are only shapes without light. They cannot step forward. They cannot reach out. They are simply the absence of glow, waiting for the lamp to make them shrink, waiting for the next step to reveal their true size. The traveler lifts the lamp slightly. Its warm circle widens, and in that widened glow, the shadows retreat a little, not disappearing, but softening, losing their edges, becoming merely the quiet backdrop to the illuminated path. This is always how darkness behaves in the presence of steady light. It yields, it loosens, it bends back just enough for courage to form in the human heart. The traveler steps forward again, slowly, his sandal presses into the dust. Shadows swirl at the edge of his vision, but the path beneath his feet remains bright, clear, safe, known. This part of the story now turns gently toward the heart listening tonight. There are seasons when your own path narrows, when options feel few, when pressures rise from both sides. when the future feels more like a hallway than an open field, when uncertainty gathers like soft shadows around the edges of your decisions. In those moments, it is natural for the heart to tighten, for breath to shorten, for the mind to whisper fears that feel true simply because they echo in the dark. But shadows, your worries, your narrowed path, cannot overcome the lamp God has placed at your feet. They can appear large when far away, but they shrink the moment the light draws near. Take a slow, gentle breath. Let it glide into your chest, warm and steady, then release it, letting the air carry some of the tightness with it. Imagine the shadows around your mind softening with every exhale, losing their sharpness, becoming lighter, less intimidating. You are not asked to eliminate the shadows, only to stay close to the light, only to trust the small glow that meets you step by step, only to listen for the quiet reassurance that God is near even when the path grows narrow. Imagine now the lamp in your hand, its glow touching the ground where your next step will land, the shadows retreating just enough, the darkness parting just enough, the road continuing just enough. The traveler walks on, not quickly, not fearfully, but with a calm born of knowing that narrow paths do not mean abandoned paths, and shadows do not mean danger. They simply mean it is time to walk a little slower, a little closer to the light, a little more gently with yourself. Let the breath slow. Let your body sink deeper into rest. Let the night soften around your heart as this truth settles deeply within you. Shadow cannot overcome a lamp, and you are guided by a light that never falters. The night deepens around the narrowing path, the air cooling as the traveler moves forward, each step touching dust that rises softly, then disappears into darkness. The lamp still glows steadily near the feet, warm and faithful, but the shadows around the traveler have grown taller, closer, their shapes stretching across the stones like long, quiet breaths. And with this closeness, another feeling begins to rise within the traveler, the weight of uncertainty, the quiet pull of wanting to turn back. It begins as a whisper, a small tightening beneath the ribs, a thought that flickers just as gently as the flame itself. What if the road ahead becomes too dark? What if the light isn't enough? What if I am walking into something I cannot handle? The traveler stops. Just for a moment. The lamp hangs low in the hand, casting warm light onto trembling fingers. The path behind him glows faintly in memory, wider, easier, familiar. The mind begins to drift there, toward the comfort of returning, toward the peace of choosing what is known rather than what is uncertain, toward the illusion of safety that backward steps sometimes promise. But the night is honest, and the heart knows the truth beneath the temptation. Turning back does not erase the journey, it simply delays what must still be faced, and the darkness behind is no gentler than the darkness ahead. The traveler exhales, long and slow, feeling the quiet weight of uncertainty settle like a cloak around the shoulders. He does not try to shake it off, he simply acknowledges it, because uncertainty is not failure, it is human, it is natural, it is part of walking any road the heart cannot fully see. A memory rises, soft as a sigh. He remembers a night long ago, sitting beside a friend who had cried over choices that felt too heavy to make. The friend's mother had sat with them both, a lamp flickering beside her as she spoke with a voice like warm cloth. Courage is not the absence of uncertainty, it is stepping forward while uncertainty walks beside you. Those words come back now like a balm. Uncertainty does not mean turn back. It means hold the lamp closer. It means breathe more slowly. It means trust in smaller steps instead of larger leaps. The traveler looks toward the road ahead. It is still narrow. still shadowed, still unknown. But the lamp at his feet glows with unwavering loyalty. Its flame dances gently as if whispering, "I will be enough for this step." He lifts it barely an inch higher. The glow widens just enough to reveal a single flat stone ahead, one safe place to land the next step. Not the whole path. Not the next turn. Just that one stone. And that is enough. This part of the story turns now toward the heart listening in the quiet of this night. There are moments in your life when the desire to turn back becomes strong, when the path ahead feels too narrow, when uncertainty presses on your chest like a quiet, heavy stone, when returning to what is familiar seems easier than trusting what is unknown. You may have felt that way today. You may have felt it in recent weeks. You may feel it still rising inside you even now. But hear this gently. You are not failing when uncertainty rises. You are not weak when fear whispers. You are not faithless when you hesitate. You are human, and God knows the architecture of a human heart. He knows its trembling, its longing for safety, its desire for clarity, its ache for reassurance. Take a slow breath. Let it slip into your lungs like warm light filling a quiet room. Then release it in a long, unhurried exhale. Feel the tension ease from your shoulders. Feel the jaw loosen. Feel the weight beneath your ribs soften slightly. Imagine standing on that ancient road, lamp in hand, shadows around you, and in front of you, a single stone illuminated by gentle light, one safe step. Not the whole journey. Just one. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to see everything. You do not need to feel brave for the next 10 miles. Just for the next step. Just enough to place your foot on the stone the light reveals. Just enough to trust that God meets you in inches, not miles, moments, not years, breaths, not lifetimes. The traveler lowers the lamp again, lets the glow settle into the dust, feels the quiet space between fear and movement, and then, with a steady exhale, he steps forward. The uncertainty does not vanish, but it no longer controls him. It walks beside him, not ahead of him, and he continues, guided by soft light and steady love. Let your breath slow now. Let your thoughts soften. Let the night hold you gently. For even when the weight of uncertainty rests on your chest, God's light remains at your feet, and He will always show you the next safe step. The night gathers more deeply around the ancient path, wrapping the traveler in a quiet so profound it feels almost like a presence, gentle, attentive, patient. The lamp glows low to the ground, steady and warm, casting a soft halo over the earth just ahead. The traveler moves slowly, each step measured, each breath thoughtful, and as the hush of night deepens, something begins to stir within the quiet. Not a sound, not a voice, but a feeling, the gentle voice of Scripture, light that speaks without sound. The traveler notices it first as a soft warmth rising behind the ribs, a memory of words once heard, perhaps long ago, words that drift into the mind like a breeze through olive branches, light to the path, lamp to the feet, guidance that is more presence than instruction, more comfort than command. The lamp's glow touches a patch of smooth stone, and the traveler feels a whisper in the silence, not spoken aloud, not carried by the wind, but breathed into the heart, a sense of being guided, watched, held. There is a sacred quality to guidance that doesn't shout, that doesn't demand attention, that doesn't overwhelm the senses, but appears softly, little nudges, quiet reassurances, tiny shifts inside the soul that feel like someone placing a warm hand gently between the shoulders. This is the way. You're safe to take this step. A memory surfaces, one from the traveler's youth, a time when he had been deeply troubled, unsure of which path to choose. He had sat near an elder who read scripture by lamplight. The room dim and quiet, the words slow, patient, tender. The elder had not interpreted or explained. He simply allowed the words to settle into the silence. Verses about trust, verses about God being near, verses about the path made straight in time. And the traveler remembered how, in that quiet room, the words had felt like light inside him, not solving every question, not answering every worry, but reminding him of God's nearness in the dark. That same warmth returns now, a soft voice without sound, a reassurance without volume, a guidance that does not need explanation to be understood. The traveler walks on, lamp low, shadows tall, the path still narrow, but inside the chest, something eases, the fear loosens, the heart opens, because Scripture speaks not only to the mind, it speaks to the soul, a place where words become light, where truth becomes warmth, where guidance becomes peace. Another image forms in the stillness, a woman sitting at the edge of her small home, her hands trembling from a day full of worry. Her lamp flickers beside her. She whispers prayers she cannot fully articulate, but as she breathes, a phrase rises inside her, not one she tries to remember, but one that comes naturally, gently, like water flowing toward low ground. He will not leave you. Those words become her light for the night, not loud, not dramatic, just enough, a small flame within, comforting, steady, present. This part of the story leans tenderly toward the heart listening now. There have been moments in your life when Scripture spoke to you without needing sound, when a verse rose into your mind at the very moment you needed reassurance, when a promise resurfaced like a warm ember just when fear began to grow, when a familiar line held your spirit together through a long, difficult night that was not memory alone. That was light. A lamp inside you. A gentle guiding whisper from the one who walks every path with you. Take a slow, calming breath. Let it fill your chest like soft lamplight entering a quiet room. Then exhale, letting your body release tension. Let your heart feel the warmth of remembered truth. Truth that has carried you through places where sight failed. Truth that continues to glow within you even now. You do not need thunder to hear God. You do not need miracles to feel His nearness. You do not need perfect clarity to know His guidance. Sometimes He speaks in the softest way imaginable, a verse rising gently in the heart, a memory warming the soul, a promise settling into your breath like peace. Imagine the Scripture as a lamp inside your chest now, warm, steady, glowing slowly, casting a soft light across your inner path, showing you that you are not lost, not alone, never without guidance, even in the deepest night. The traveler walks forward, not with certainty of the whole road, but with a quiet, peaceful trust in the one who whispers light into the heart. One verse at a time, one breath at a time, one gentle step forward. Let your breath soften again. Let the night hold you. Let the quiet glow of Scripture rest inside you like a small flame you can return to whenever the path grows dim. The night around the narrow path settles into an even deeper quiet, a stillness so soft and complete it feels as though the world itself is listening, waiting, holding its breath with the traveler's own slow rhythm. The lamp glows low, steady, unwavering, casting warm light over stones and dust, over the next few careful steps, and within that small circle of glow, something begins to happen. Not dramatic, not sudden, but gentle, slow, like dawn forming behind the horizon long before the first ray appears. Moments of clarity, when God reveals what comes next. The traveler walks on, heart calmer now, breath more even, The earlier tension has loosened, though the night remains dark, the path narrow, the destination unseen, but the light has settled into a rhythm that feels almost alive, almost intentional, almost aware. Then, something shifts. A bend in the road appears. Not illuminated all at once, not bright or startling, just a soft widening of the glow, a gentle unveiling of the next few feet of earth, enough to show a change in direction, enough to say, "Here, this way now." The traveler pauses, feeling the quiet beauty of this moment. Clarity arrives not through a flood of brightness, but through the glow expanding at exactly the right time, exactly when the heart is ready to receive it. A memory surfaces, a moment years ago when the traveler stood on a hill overlooking his village, uncertain of a decision that weighed heavily on him. He had prayed for direction, for signs, for certainty, but nothing came, not that day, not that week. Then one morning, while carrying water back to his home, he noticed a shaft of light breaking through a small opening in the clouds, illuminating a single patch of ground, right where he stood. Just there. Just enough. And he understood, not loudly, not unmistakably, but with a soft inner certainty, that this was the way forward, this moment, this step, this direction. That same quiet clarity brushes against the traveler's heart now, like a feather drifting across the skin, like a warm breeze tracing the edges of awareness, like a whispering assurance that God's timing is never late, never early, always gentle, always perfectly suited to the soul's capacity. Another image drifts into the stillness. A woman once sat at the edge of her small courtyard, overwhelmed by choices she could not untangle. Her lamp flickered beside her, her thoughts tangled like threads in a basket. Then, quietly, she noticed the flame lean toward one side of the bowl, a tiny, almost imperceptible tilt, drawing her attention to a small detail she had been overlooking for days. And in that moment, clarity rose inside her, soft, tender, hopeful, a knowing of what to do next. Nothing dramatic, just a gentle shift in the heart, enough to guide her forward. She later described it as the moment the light sighed in the right direction. And the traveler feels something similar now, a leaning, a soft pointing, a quiet revealing of the next step. This part of the story now turns gently toward the heart listening tonight. There have been moments in your life, beautiful, subtle moments, when clarity arrived just when you needed it, a thought settling into place, a decision becoming lighter, a tiny shift inside saying, "Here, this is the way." Not loud, not demanding, just softly true. Perhaps you did not even recognize it as guidance at the time. Only later, when looking back, did you see how the light had expanded in just the right moment? How God had revealed the next step right when you needed it and not a moment before. Take a slow, deep breath now. Let it slip into your lungs like warm light flowing across quiet stone. Then exhale, letting your shoulders relax, letting the tight spaces inside you open gently. Feel the quiet memory of clarity, moments when peace arrived unexpectedly, when understanding settled like dew on morning grass, when you suddenly knew the next step even if the rest remained hidden. God's guidance does not come to overwhelm you. It comes to steady you, to encourage the heart, to ease the mind, to reveal just enough for the next move, never more, never less. Imagine now the lamplight widening slightly, softly revealing the bend in your own road, not in detail, not with overwhelming brightness, but with a tender invitation. This way, you're safe to continue. The traveler steps forward, into the newly revealed part of the path, feeling no rush, no pressure, only a deep, quiet gratitude that guidance comes exactly when the heart is ready to receive it. Let your breath soften again. Let the night cradle you like a warm embrace. Let the truth settle. clarity will come when needed, light will widen when the moment is right, and God will reveal the next step with tenderness perfectly suited to your soul. The night has settled into a deep, serene stillness. The narrow path winds gently beneath the traveler's feet, and after the soft moment of clarity that revealed the next bend, something shifts quietly inside, not loudly, not dramatically, just a gradual loosening of tension, a warmth spreading behind the ribs, a path that feels safe again, light guiding the heart toward trust. The traveler steps into the newly revealed stretch of road. The lamp glows in a steady rhythm, its light brushing over smooth patches of stone, gentle curves in the path, and soft pockets of sand that cradle each footfall. The fear that once tightened the breath begins to ease. The shadows at the edges seem less imposing, as though the darkness itself is respecting the steady glow of the flame. Something changes in the traveler's gait, a subtle shift of weight, a little less hesitation, a little more confidence in the placement of each step, not because the whole journey is suddenly visible, but because the light has shone enough to restore trust in the present moment. A soft memory rises, not one of fear or uncertainty, but of safety, a time when the traveler, as a child, walked home after evening chores, holding his mother's hand while she carried a small lamp. He remembered how her grip was gentle, yet reassuring, how the lamp swung slightly with each step, casting little pools of gold along the path, and how, even though the night was dark around them, he felt no fear, because he trusted the one who walked beside him. That memory warms him now, not as nostalgia, but as revelation. Trust is born not from knowing the whole path, but from knowing who holds the light. The traveler glances at the lamp in his hand, its flame steady, its glow unwavering, and he feels a quiet truth settle into place. This light, this gentle, holy guidance, is not fragile, it is not accidental, it is not dependent on his perfection. It is a gift meant to stay with him, a presence that does not falter, a guidance that remains even when the road narrows or fear rises. Another tender picture emerges in the stillness. A man once walked a similar path after a long day of labor, his legs tired, his mind heavy, but as he lifted his lamp, he noticed something small but meaningful. Every time the flame flickered, it recovered. Every time the wind brushed against it, it leaned but did not go out. Every time the darkness pressed in, the glow remained steady, not strong, not bold, just sure, just enough, just faithful. He later told his family, "The night was dark, but the path felt safe because the light stayed near my feet." That is the feeling returning to the traveler now. The path hasn't changed, the night hasn't brightened, the shadows haven't disappeared, but trust has been rekindled, like a soft flame rising within, a comfort that says, "I am not alone on this road. I am guided. I am held. I am safe." This part of the story now turns gently toward the heart listening tonight. You may have been walking through a season where the path felt uncertain, where shadows pressed close, where decisions felt heavy, where clarity seemed distant, where your steps were careful, hesitant, burdened with worry. But just as the lamplight widens gently for the traveler, God widens the light in your life when the moment is right. Your path may not be fully revealed, but there is a softness returning, a sense of safety rising within, a quiet assurance that you are guided, that the ground beneath you is steadier than you feared, that the next steps are clearer than they were before. Take a slow breath. Let it rise slowly through the chest like warm light expanding. Then exhale, letting your body release what it no longer needs to carry. Feel the shoulders loosen, feel the mind soften, feel the heart exhale. Imagine yourself walking with that small lamp, the path ahead not fully known, but safe. Lit. Gentle. Guided by someone who sees far beyond what you can. and who walks beside you with tenderness that wraps your steps in peace. Let the warmth behind your ribs grow a little brighter. Let trust settle where fear once lived. Let the night around you feel less like an obstacle and more like a quiet companion to your journey. For the God who gives light to your feet has not left you. He is guiding you, even now, even here, even in this exact moment, with a care so soft and steady it restores the heart's ability to trust again. Let the breath slow, let the glow deepen, let the heart rest in the safety of being guided by divine light. The night settles into a deep, velvety stillness. The traveler walks with steadier steps now, the earlier uncertainty softened by the gentle widening of the path, and as the lamp glows faithfully at the feet, a familiar warmth begins to rise inside, a warmth that feels like recognition, remembrance, revelation. For in this quiet moment, the verse itself comes alive, a lamp to my feet, a light to my path. Oi. The words are not spoken aloud. They drift into the mind like a soft breeze moving through tall grass, their presence felt more than heard, their truth settling into the soul with a depth only stillness can reveal. The traveler pauses. The lamp glows softly in the cradle of his hand. The road stretches into gentle darkness ahead, and the ancient words whisper within him, not as a command, not as doctrine, but as comfort, as companionship, as a reminder of a presence that has walked this road long before him, and walks it still, beside him, within him. He feels the weight of the verse, not heavy, but grounding, steadying, a truth that anchors the heart when sight is limited, a promise given not to scholars or sages, but to wanderers, to tired souls, to anyone who has ever needed just enough light to keep going. The traveler lifts the lamp slightly, watches how its glow brushes the dust, watches how the flame stays steady even when the night grows thick, and the verse settles more deeply within him. A lamp to my feet, a light to my path. He realizes something profound in its simplicity. The verse does not promise a blazing sunrise. It does not promise full visibility. It does not promise certainty. It promises guidance. It promises presence. It promises light exactly where the foot meets the ground. Not a map. Not a spotlight. A lamp. Just enough. Always enough. A memory surfaces from his childhood, a time when he had been frightened by a long walk home after dusk. His grandfather had carried the lamp that night, holding it low, their footsteps slow and steady. The boy kept looking ahead into the darkness, trying to see the whole distance, anxious about what he could not see, until his grandfather placed the lamp into his small hands and said softly, "Feel how warm it is? This light is your companion, not your conqueror. Stay close to it. It will show you enough." That warmth returns now, the same gentle truth, the same invitation to trust the light he is rather than fear the darkness he cannot see. Another image forms, a woman praying on her rooftop under a sky full of stars, a small lamp beside her, her heart heavy with questions she cannot yet answer, but in the quiet, the verse rises within her, and she feels the tenderness of a God who does not demand that she understand everything, only that she follow what is illuminated now. One small glow, one small step, one small act of trust. This moment in the story now turns toward the heart listening tonight. The verse speaks to you too, not as obligation, not as pressure, but as comfort perfectly suited to your present place, a lamp to your feet, a light to your path. Not a floodlight for your future. Not a blazing torch to chase away every unknown. Just a lamp. Close. warm, faithful, always enough for the step you are about to take. If your heart has been longing for direction, if your mind has been weary from trying to see too far ahead, if you have been asking for clarity and receiving only small glimpses, perhaps this verse is rising tonight not to frustrate you, but to free you, to release you from the pressure of needing to know everything, to remind you that God is not asking for leaps, only steps, only breath by breath trust, only companionship with His light. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it expand in your chest like warm lamplight filling a quiet room. Then exhale, letting tension leave your body, letting the verse settle deeper into your spirit, a lamp to your feet, right here. Where you stand, where your worries gather, where your choices sit waiting. A light to your path, not the whole path, not the distant years, just this stretch of road, just this night, just this moment. Let your breath soften again. Let the verse become a gentle glow behind your ribs. Let the truth wrap around you like warm cloth. Let it reassure your heart that you are guided, deeply, faithfully, lovingly, even when the way ahead is dim. The traveler steps forward again, carrying the verse with him like a second lamp, a light inside as steady as the flame outside. Together they illuminate the path. Together they restore peace. Together they guide the next quiet step. The night deepens into a tender, velvety calm, the kind of quiet that feels almost like a warm blanket being drawn around the earth. Every sound has softened, every shadow has grown still, and the traveler walks in a rhythm that is no longer anxious or searching, but slow, trusting, gently surrendered. The lamp glows steadily at the feet, a faithful circle of soft gold that moves with each step, and as the traveler breathes in the cool night air, a new realization begins to rise, not as a sudden insight, but as a gentle truth blooming from within, the gift of small guidance, light for today, not the whole journey. The traveler pauses at a smooth part of the path. The road ahead remains wrapped in darkness, the distant steps invisible, the future hidden in deep folds of night. But instead of fear, the traveler feels something unexpected: peace, a tender acceptance that the lamp does not need to reveal everything, it only needs to reveal what matters now. This next footprint, this next breath, this next heartbeat of the road. The traveler kneels for a moment, allowing the lamp to rest closer to the ground, watching how the glow caresses each grain of sand, how the warmth spills across the tiny shapes of pebbles and dried leaves, how it reveals beauty in what once felt insignificant, as though God is whispering, "Look, here, this moment has its own light, its own purpose, its own grace." Memories begin to rise, moments when the traveler had wanted answers far ahead, moments when he had cried out for the whole map, moments when he had felt the ache of not knowing what tomorrow would demand. He remembers standing under a fig tree years earlier, overwhelmed by a sudden change in life. He had prayed, not calmly, not poetically, but desperately, asking for clarity about months, seasons, years ahead. And instead, he had sensed an unexpected stillness. A soft inner nudge that felt like the warmth of sunlight through leaves, telling him not the whole plan, but simply the next step. Just that. Just enough. Just today. It frustrated him then. He wanted more. He wanted certainty. He wanted the comfort of seeing the distant horizon. But tonight, on this quiet path, he understands why God answers in small lights, why guidance comes in gentle portions. Because the heart is not built to carry the future all at once. It would be too heavy, too overwhelming, too full of unknowns and possibilities and questions. So God gives what a loving Father gives, guidance that fits the moment, light that fits the step, grace that fits the day. No more, no less. It is a gift, not a limitation. A kindness, not a denial. The traveler rises again, holding the lamp at a height that feels natural, comforting, familiar, and the light seems to glow a little warmer, not brighter, but more intimate, more personal, reflecting a truth that has settled into the traveler's spirit. I am guided in the portion I can hold. This part of the story turns now toward the heart listening gently in the night. You, too, may have longed for the whole road. You may have prayed for a detailed path. You may have wanted certainty before taking another step. But consider this truth, softly, tenderly. If God gave you all the answers at once, your heart would have no room left for trust. No space for growth. No space for being held. So He gives you light for today. For this hour. For this moment in your journey. And that is mercy. That is love. That is God protecting your heart from the weight of knowing too much before you're ready. Take a slow breath. Let it drift into your lungs like warm light filling a quiet room. Then exhale, releasing the tension that tries to plan every unseen step. Feel the shoulders ease. Feel the jaw soften. Feel the chest loosen a little more. Imagine your own life as the traveler's path, a road stretching through gentle night, and imagine God's hand placing a lamp near your feet, not to show the distant years, but to show the next safe place to step, just enough for peace, just enough for trust, just enough for rest. The traveler walks on, not racing, not worrying, but savoring the soft miracle of small guidance, knowing that the one who lights today's step will light tomorrow's, and the day after that, and every quiet, unseen moment ahead. Let this truth settle over you like a soft blanket. You do not need light for the whole road. You only need the light that God is giving you tonight. Warm, close, a lamp to your feet. The night folds deeper over the ancient path. The air grows even softer, cooler, settling around the traveler like a gentle cloak. The lamp glows steadily near the ground, small but unwavering, and as the traveler continues, something begins to shift inside the quiet, not outside the path, but within the heart itself. For this next stretch of the journey reveals something tender and profound. When the road curves and you cannot see ahead, God's presence fills the unseen places. The path begins to bend, slowly at first, then more deeply, curling into darkness the lamp cannot touch, a shape disappearing into shadow, a direction invisible until the traveler is close enough to step into it. At the edge of the curve, the traveler stops. Not in fear, but in stillness, in awareness. There is something humbling about standing before a part of the road that refuses to reveal itself. Something that invites reflection, something that calls the heart to trust what lies beyond the lamp's gentle glow. The traveler lowers the lamp, letting it rest near the dust. Its circle of light touches only a sliver of the turning path, revealing just a small hint of direction, a soft invitation inward, into mystery, into the unseen, into the quiet chamber where faith breathes most deeply. A memory rises, one from the traveler's childhood. He remembers walking with his father through a field of tall wheat at dusk. The path then, too, had curved around the base of a hill, and he had felt a tremor of worry, afraid of what might wait beyond the bend. His father had sensed the fear, and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "A curve is not a danger," the father had whispered. "It just means God has prepared something you're not meant to see yet." Those words return now with a soothing warmth. A curve is not a threat. A curve is not a warning. A curve is simply an unseen gift, a moment where the path humbles the heart and invites deeper trust. The traveler breathes slowly, the night feels tender, the lamp flickers softly in the cool air, and the traveler takes a step toward the curve. The path reveals just a little more, only what the lamp touches, only what the current moment holds, a few inches of ground, enough to shift weight, enough to trust the next breath, enough to continue. Another memory drifts into view. A woman in a distant village once stood at the threshold of a new season in her life. She could not see beyond the first step, could not predict how things would unfold, could not grasp what God was shaping for her future. She described it as standing at the beginning of a curve I could not see around. But later, much later, she said that the curve had been a kindness, a gentle turning that protected her from seeing too much too soon. A place where God prepared her heart in quiet ways she did not realize at the time. This memory now folds into the traveler's experience, and into the heart hearing this story tonight. Because you, too, may be standing at a curve in your own path. A decision, a change, a transition, a place where visibility feels limited, where you can see only a sliver of what comes next, where you may long for clarity just beyond the bend. But the quiet truth is this: God is already in the unseen place, already shaping what lies beyond the curve, already preparing the next stretch of the path, already walking ahead of you even when you cannot see Him. Take a slow, gentle breath. Let it fill the chest with warmth. Then exhale, letting the tension melt from your shoulders. Feel the comfort that comes from knowing the unseen is not empty. The unseen is held, filled with God's presence, filled with God's preparation, filled with the quiet promise that nothing beyond your sight is beyond His care. Imagine standing with the traveler now, the lamp near your feet, the path curving gently out of view, and beyond that bend, not darkness alone, but the warm presence of God waiting for you, guiding you, preparing the way. You do not have to see what lies ahead to be safe. You do not have to understand the curve to walk it. You do not have to hold the future tightly. It is already held by hands far stronger and gentler than yours. The traveler lifts the lamp again. Its glow touches the first few inches of the turning path. Soft, warm, peaceful, and with a calm born from trust, he steps into the curve. The unknown becomes known only when he arrives. The unseen becomes gentle as soon as the light meets it. And the God who walked the beginning of the road walks the bend as well. Let your breath slow. Let the night wrap around you. Let your heart rest in the truth that what you cannot see, God already holds, with tenderness, with wisdom, with love. The night wraps itself gently around the curving path, a quiet, velvety darkness that feels less like emptiness and more like a soft chamber created for reflection. The traveler steps slowly into this bend in the road, lamp glowing low, light brushing the edges of the curve, and something begins to stir in the heart, not fear, not worry, but a deep, steadying sense of nearness. For in this turn of the path, the presence of God feels closer than ever, not in sight, but in the quiet space around the soul. With each step the traveler takes, the world grows quieter, even the nocturnal sounds fade into softer echoes. The wind stills, the air feels warmer, and the silence deepens into something sacred, something holy, something that feels like being gently held. The traveler pauses. Not because the path is unclear, but because the heart senses something tender. A presence that fills the darkness without needing to be seen. a closeness that does not announce itself, but wraps around the traveler with a warmth deeper than firelight. It feels like the moment before dawn, where everything is still, where the world seems to rest, where an unseen warmth settles over the land, soft, steady, alive. A memory rises slowly, one from years long past. The traveler remembers sitting with his grandmother on a quiet evening. She had lit a tiny clay lamp near their mat. The room was dark except for that small flame, and yet, the darkness did not feel empty. It felt comforting. It felt full. It felt like God was closer when the world was quiet. She had whispered once, in a voice soft enough to match the lamplight, "God speaks loudest in silence, not to the ears, but to the heart." Those words return now like a gentle embrace. In the narrow places, in the curves of life, in the deeper quiets, His presence feels nearer, not because the path is bright, but because the soul is listening more tenderly. The traveler takes another slow step. The lamp reveals a few more inches of the bend, nothing more, but something deeper than light guides the movement, a soft inner knowing, a peace that seems to rise from within, as though God's presence has drawn closer, matching each step with its own holy nearness. Another image forms in the night. A man from a distant village once traveled through a long season of uncertainty. He felt lost, afraid, unseen. But one evening, while sitting alone near a small stone wall, he realized something profound. He had felt God's presence strongest not when life was clear, but when life was quiet. Not when he knew the full path, but when he could only see one step. Not when everything made sense, but when he was simply still enough to feel the warmth of God sitting beside him in the dark. He later described it as the night God sat near me without saying a word. And the traveler understands that feeling now. The presence of God does not always come with revelation. Sometimes it comes as rest. Sometimes it comes as stillness. Sometimes it comes as an unexplainable calm in an unexplained place. A softness around the heart. A warm weight in the chest. A peace that does not depend on circumstances. This part of the story turns now toward the heart listening tonight. There may be a place in your life that feels like a curve, a season where you cannot see the full picture, where answers feel distant, where reassurance feels quiet, where the future feels wrapped in gentle shadow. It is here, right here, that God often draws nearest. Not in blazing certainty, but in quiet companionship. Not in loud answers, but in the soft warmth behind your ribs. Not in visible miracles, but in the peace that settles over you for no explainable reason, the peace that makes no sense except for this: you are not alone. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it rise like a warm tide in your chest, then release it gently, letting your body melt a little more into stillness, into softness, into presence. Imagine the curve in your own journey, dim, quiet, unknown, and imagine God sitting with you in the bend of it, not rushing you, not pushing you, not overwhelming you, just being near. Holding your heart quietly. Letting you breathe. Letting you rest. You do not need to see Him for Him to be near. You do not need to hear words for Him to speak to your heart. You do not need to know the road ahead for Him to walk it with you. The traveler breathes quietly, the lamp glows warmly, and the presence around him feels like a gentle hand resting over his shoulders, guiding, comforting, embracing, without saying a single word. Let this truth settle deep within you tonight. In the unseen places, God is nearest. In the quiet places, He is listening. In the curved places, He is guiding. In the tender places, He is holding your heart with care beyond understanding. The night has grown into its fullest quiet, a deep, hushed stillness that feels almost like a sanctuary built out of darkness and soft air. The traveler stands in the gentle curve of the path, lamp glowing steady and warm at the feet, heart settled, breath slow, and something begins to unfold within the soul. Not a thought, not a memory, but a revelation that rises like warm light from deep within. For in this tender moment, the traveler realizes that God's guidance is not only around him, but inside him, a light placed within the heart. The lamp shines softly across the ground, its glow steady, delicate, unwavering. But another glow begins to rise, an inner warmth, a soft awareness, a gentle stirring of peace that does not come from the outside light, but from a flame deeper and quieter inside the traveler's chest. He breathes in, the warmth grows. He breathes out, the tension melts. It feels like something sacred is awakening, as though the verse spoken earlier, "A lamp to my feet, a light to my path," has moved from thought into experience. Not just a truth to recite, but a truth to feel. A truth becoming real in the soft interior of the heart. The traveler continues walking, slowly, gently, without rush, and the inner flame brightens with each step, not overpowering, not startling, just quietly expanding, like the glow of dawn long before the sun appears, like embers that begin to breathe again after a long night of stillness, like a presence whispering softly from within, "You are not guided by light alone, you are guided by me." A memory surfaces, a moment from early youth. The traveler had once sat with a wise teacher who told him a story about a king who kept a lamp burning inside his heart. Whenever the king faced decisions, he would close his eyes and wait, not for signs in the sky, not for omens, not for voices outside, but for the small glow inside his chest to settle. Only when that inner light grew steady did he take his next step. The teacher had whispered, "The truest guidance is not shouted. It is felt." Those words come alive now, not as memory, but as understanding. The traveler places a hand gently over his chest, feeling the soft rise and fall of breath, feeling the warmth beneath the ribs, feeling the presence of God not beside him, not ahead of him, but within him. A presence that moves like quiet light, a presence that steadies the heart, a presence that becomes a guide even when the path is dark, even when decisions are heavy, even when the way ahead is hidden. Another image forms in the night, a young girl sitting beside a river at dusk. Her lamp flickers beside her, but what comforts her most is not the flame, it is the peace inside her chest whenever she prays. She once told her family, "It feels like God lights a small candle inside me. Even when I cannot see the path, I can feel the glow." Her words drift into the traveler's heart now, and into the heart listening tonight. For you, too, carry an inner glow, a quiet guidance placed within you long before you recognized it, a gentle wisdom that rises in moments of stillness, a peace that appears unexpectedly when you breathe slowly, a soft inner nudge that says, "This way, now," a calming presence that settles you even before circumstances settle. You are not guided only by what you can see. You are guided by what God has placed inside you, a spiritual lamp, a quiet flame, a gentle internal compass woven of His presence and His peace. Take a long, slow breath. Let it fill the chest like warm lamplight rising from within. Then exhale, letting the breath carry away fear, carry away urgency, carry away worry about what you cannot see. Feel the warmth behind your ribs. Feel the steady rhythm of your heart. Feel the softness growing inside your spirit. This is where God speaks. This is where His guidance rests. This is where His presence breathes. You have a lamp outside you, the gentle guidance God gives for each step. And you have a lamp inside you, the quiet flame of His presence that never goes out. The traveler walks with both, a glow at his feet and a glow in his heart, together illuminating the path, together soothing the soul, together carrying him deeper into peace. Let the breath soften again. Let the night cradle your body. Let the warmth inside your chest grow just a little brighter. A reminder that God is not only leading you, He is within you, lighting your path from the inside out, step by gentle step. The night settles into its quietest hour, a deep, velvety stillness that feels almost like time itself is pausing to let the traveler rest. The path continues forward, but its urgency has disappeared. There is only breath, only glow, only the soft rhythm of steps guided by peace rather than fear. The lamp in the traveler's hand glows faithfully near the ground, and the inner light burning quietly behind the ribs warms the chest with every gentle inhale. Together, these two flames guide the traveler into a new space, a slow descent into deeper calm, where the soul begins to release what it once held tightly. The path widens slightly, the stones seem smoother, the shadows softer, less defined, almost as if the night itself has begun to relax with the traveler. The traveler breathes in, slow and unhurried. The air feels cool against the skin. The scent of distant cedar trees drifts softly on the breeze, a reminder that the world itself is quiet, resting, held in its own kind of peace. He lowers the lamp even closer to the earth, watching how its glow spreads across the dust, revealing a delicate pattern of tiny pebbles, soft arcs of wind-shaped sand, the faint outline of a fallen leaf resting gently on the path. Everything looks calmer now. Not because the night is less dark, but because the traveler's heart has become more still. Moments like this reshape the inner world. Moments where the soul slows enough to feel God's nearness not as a concept, but as a presence, a warmth, a gentle weight pressing softly over the shoulders, calming every frantic thought, soothing every hidden ache, quieting every restless fear. A memory rises, one from a season long past, when the traveler sat beside a river at dusk. The water moved slowly, unhurried, reflecting the bronze glow of the fading sun. He had watched the stream for a long time that evening, not thinking, not worrying, just breathing, just being present. His mother had joined him later and whispered, "When the water moves slowly, you can see your reflection more clearly. When your soul is still, you can feel God more deeply." Those words return now, soft, steady, like ripples across quiet water. Because in this moment, the traveler's soul is like that calm river, still, reflective, open to the subtle guidance of divine presence, open to being held, open to rest. Another image rises, a shepherd sitting beside his flock at night, the fire low, the stars bright above. He does not need to watch the horizon constantly. He listens only to the soft breathing of the sheep, and in that gentle quiet, he feels the nearness of God more intimately than in daylight. It is not the absence of danger that brings peace, but the presence of the shepherd. The traveler feels something similar now, a peace unrelated to circumstances, a calm not earned by effort, a rest given as gift. This part of the story leans now toward the heart listening in the quiet of tonight. You may have carried much recently. You may have walked through days filled with decisions, concerns, unknowns. Your mind may have moved quickly. Your heart may have felt stretched. Your spirit may have been holding more than it could comfortably bear. But now, in this moment, you are stepping into a softer place. A slower place. A place where the inner lamp burns quietly, and the outer lamp guides tenderly, and the weight you carried begins to loosen. Let yourself breathe deeply, slowly. Let the exhale be long, gentle, and releasing. Feel the muscles soften along your neck. Feel your chest rise without strain. Feel your hands relax. Feel the shoulders sink a little deeper into rest. You are allowed to rest here. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to let God hold the weight you can no longer carry. You are allowed to feel small in a safe way, held by a presence larger than the night, gentler than the wind, closer than your own breath. Imagine the traveler's lamp glowing near your feet. Imagine your inner lamp glowing behind your ribs. Two sources of warmth, two sources of peace, two reminders that you are guided from above and within, that God surrounds you and indwells you, lighting you gently on all sides. Let this truth settle over you like a warm blanket. You do not walk alone. You do not rest alone. You are surrounded and supported by a love so gentle it can calm even the deepest tremors of the heart. The traveler moves forward again, but his steps are softer now, not searching, not questioning, simply resting in motion, embracing the slow descent into the quiet heart of the night, where God's presence feels like the very breath around him. Let your breath soften once more. Let your mind drift like dust settling on a calm path. Let this deep, sacred quiet fill every tired place within you. The night has entered its gentlest depth, a quiet so soft it feels like the earth is exhaling, a softness that wraps the traveler like a warm cloak, inviting every muscle, every thought, every hidden worry, to finally loosen, to finally rest. The lamp glows low at the traveler's feet, a small, steady flame breathing in harmony with the night, and the inner light, warm behind the ribs, glows even more deeply now, a slow radiance that feels less like a flicker and more like a quiet, living presence. As the traveler continues forward, something begins to shift inside, something subtle, something tender, something deeply spiritual. This is the moment where the journey sinks into profound stillness, where the soul releases its last defenses and simply rests in God's nearness. The path widens just enough to feel spacious, the stones smooth into soft earth, the shadows soften into gentle shapes, and the night feels warmer, as if drawing nearer, offering comfort the traveler didn't even know he needed. He slows his steps, not out of fear, but because the stillness is so calming that it feels like a place to linger, a place where time moves differently, a place where the presence of God is not sought, but felt. A memory drifts into the traveler's awareness. He recalls a time in youth when he visited a quiet olive grove just before dawn. The sky still dim, the world still half asleep, and the silence around him felt so thick, so gentle, that it brought tears to his eyes without warning. It wasn't sadness. It was the overwhelming sense of being held. He remembers sitting on a smooth stone, listening to nothing, breathing softly, feeling his heart slow, feeling his soul open, feeling God near. Not in words, not in signs, but in a quiet weight of comfort so deep he could do nothing but sit still and receive it. That same sacred hush settles over him now. A hush that says, "You are safe, you can relax now, you can rest here a while." The traveler stops walking. He lets the lamp rest at his side, its glow brushing the ground like soft gold, and he closes his eyes, allowing the inner light, God's presence within, to take precedence over the world outside. Inside his chest, the warmth expands, slow, tender, like gentle hands placing themselves on his spirit, like a blanket of peace tucking itself around his soul, like love resting softly on the tired places within him. Another image forms in the night. A man from a far village once described a moment of deep prayer by saying, "It felt like God placed his hand over my heart and told it to rest." The traveler understands now. He feels it too. That quiet, loving pressure over the heart, that calming presence flowing into each breath, that stillness that requires no words, only trust. This part of the story now turns toward the listener's heart, your heart, resting in the quiet of this night. You may have carried much, you may have walked through shadows, you may have taken careful steps through uncertainty, you may have longed for peace that felt out of reach, but now, in this sacred stillness, God is inviting your soul to let go, not of responsibility, not of your path, but of the tension that has held your heart in knots. You are safe to rest. You are safe to breathe slowly. You are safe to soften into God's presence. You are safe to let your guard down. You are safe to release the weight you've been carrying. Take a long, slow breath. Let it slip into the deepest part of your lungs, warm, steady, gentle. Then exhale, letting every tight place inside you loosen, letting your thoughts drift like dust settling on quiet ground, letting your heart melt into the peace being poured over it. Imagine standing with the traveler now, on a widened part of the path, under a sky woven with stars, a lamp glowing near your feet, another lamp glowing quietly within your chest, and a presence, holy, comforting, near, resting over your shoulders like warm hands made of light. You do not need to take another step right now. You can simply be still. You can simply breathe. You can simply rest in the truth that God is holding you through this quiet moment, surrounding you, filling you, guiding you, loving you with a depth that softens every corner of your soul. The traveler breathes with you. The night breathes with you, God's presence breathes with you, and all becomes deeply, perfectly, beautifully calm. The night settles into its deepest hush, a soft, endless quiet, the kind of silence that feels sacred, alive, holy, as though the world itself has paused to make room for the presence that now surrounds the traveler like warm, invisible arms. The lamp glows low, a small, steady flame at the traveler's feet, and the inner light, stronger now, deeper now, glows warmly behind the ribs. Together they hold the traveler in a place beyond fear, beyond thought, beyond striving. This is the heart of the journey, the descent into complete stillness, where the soul stops moving and simply rests in God. The path continues, but the traveler does not feel compelled to rush. Each step is soft, measured, unhurried, like walking inside a dream shaped from quiet grace. The air feels warmer, the shadows have softened into gentle silhouettes, even the sky above seems to have lowered itself closer, as though to cradle the traveler under a blanket of stars. He breathes deeply, slowly, each inhale a warm tide, each exhale a release of something old, something tired, something that no longer needs to be carried. It is here, in this deep quiet, that the traveler begins to notice something he had overlooked all along. The path under his feet feels softer, less rocky, more like smooth earth shaped gently by countless footsteps before him. As if many others have walked this same journey into calm, into surrender, into the soft, trusting rest that comes when a soul finally stops fighting to see what lies ahead. A memory rises, one from long ago, when the traveler had attended a night gathering led by a gentle teacher. The teacher had asked everyone to sit silently in a circle, eyes closed, hands open, breath slow. After a long stillness, the teacher whispered, When you become quiet inside, God becomes loud in peace. Those words unfold now in the traveler's heart, warm as a hand over the chest. Because peace has become loud. Not noisy, not overwhelming, but unmistakable. A presence that fills every corner of the soul, gentle and deep as water, soft and steady as night air, comforting as being held by someone who knows every fear and whispers, "It's okay now, rest." The traveler continues walking, though it feels less like walking and more like floating within a soft current of divine rest. His shoulders have dropped. His muscles have loosened. His mind has quieted until thoughts move like feather-light shapes through the dusk. Everything inside him has slowed. Everything inside him has softened. Everything inside him has surrendered. Another image drifts through the stillness, an elderly woman sitting on her porch at dusk, her hands folded in her lap. She once told the traveler, "There is a kind of peace you can only feel in the dark, when your heart stops trying to solve the future." And the traveler understands her now. Because this is that peace, deep, still, quiet, strong, a peace birthed not from answers, but from presence. This part of the story now leans toward the heart listening gently tonight. You may have been carrying restless thoughts, questions, worries, things you felt responsible for, things you didn't know how to release. But here, in this deep quiet, you are invited to let all of it soften. To breathe without urgency. To rest without guilt. To allow your heart to loosen its grip on the unseeable things. Take a long, slow breath. Let it fill your lungs like warm lamplight rising from within. Then let it out in a soft, extended exhale. Feel the way your chest eases, your shoulders soften, your thoughts fall still like dust settling on a calm road. Imagine yourself beside the traveler, lamp glowing at your feet, warmth glowing behind your ribs, the night wrapped around you like a gentle embrace. There is nothing you must decide right now. Nothing you must solve. Nothing demanded of you. Only rest. Only stillness. Only peace. You are safe in this moment. Held in this moment. Surrounded in this moment. And the God who lights your path has now settled into the quiet spaces of your soul, breathing peace into every place that once felt tense or afraid. Let your breath slow again. Let your body grow heavier with rest. Let your soul sink deeper into the softness of God's presence. The night has reached its most tender softness, a deep, velvety calm that feels as though the earth itself is breathing in slow, peaceful waves. The traveler walks in that quiet, lamp glowing warm near the ground, inner light glowing deeper behind the ribs, and with each gentle step, the journey begins to settle toward its peaceful close. This is the moment when the night turns from guidance to comfort, from movement to rest, from seeking light to simply being held by it. The traveler moves forward into a wider space on the path, a place where the ground becomes smoother, where the shadows gather not to intimidate, but to cradle, where the air feels hushed, warm, and safe, a sanctuary carved out of silence. He pauses, letting the lamp rest at his side. The small flame flickers softly, painting gold across the earth, and the inner glow, steady and warm, fills the chest with a serenity that has no urgency, no demand, no weight. In this quiet moment, gratitude begins to rise. Not loud gratitude, not emotional gratitude, but a soft, steady, glowing sense of thankfulness that moves slowly through the soul, like warm water flowing across the inner landscape. The traveler feels grateful for the lamp, for the small circle of guidance that carried him through uncertainty, for the inner light that warmed him when shadows pressed close, for the stillness that held him when his heart grew weary, and above all, for the presence of God that accompanied him without ever needing to make a sound. A memory returns, one that has been waiting in the quiet corners of the heart. He remembers a night during his adolescence when he felt lost, lost in questions, lost in fear, lost in the unknown future stretching before him. He sat alone under a sky filled with stars, his mind restless, his heart trembling, but in that silence, a soft warmth rose within him. Not an answer, not a sign, just warmth, just presence, just a gentle knowing that he was not alone. He did not understand it then, but he understands it now. God does not always guide with clarity. Sometimes he guides with comfort. Sometimes he guides with the simple reassurance that he is near, and that nearness becomes the reason the heart can keep walking. The traveler looks up to the night sky, filled with soft stars that seem to pulse with their own quiet rhythm. It feels as if the entire sky is breathing peace into him, slow, steady, unhurried peace, a peace that asks for nothing, promises everything, and invites the soul to truly rest. Another image drifts gently into his awareness, an elder he once knew, sitting on the threshold of his home at dusk. The elder's face was lined with years of difficulty, yet his eyes were soft with peace. He had said once, "There comes a point in the journey where God no longer needs to show you the path, because His presence becomes the destination." Those words settled deeply in the traveler now. The journey was never just about moving forward. It was about becoming still enough inside to feel the presence that has always been there, gentle, patient, faithful, lighting the path, and warming the heart. This part of the story now turns toward your own heart, sitting quietly in the peaceful hush of this night. You may be nearing the end of a long day, a long week, a long season, where you walked through uncertainty, where you carried burdens the world could not see, where you navigated shadows without knowing what lay ahead. But here, in this moment, you are being invited into the same soft gratitude that rises in the traveler. Gratitude for the small lights, for the quiet guidance, for the gentle reassurances, for the inner peace that arrived when you needed it most, for the presence of God that walked with you even when you could not feel Him clearly. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it rise gently into the chest, warm, steady, then exhale, letting every worry fall away like dust settling onto a still path. You are safe now. You are guided. You are surrounded by a peace deeper than words. Let gratitude form inside you, not forced, not dramatic, just a quiet warmth spreading slowly behind the ribs. Imagine standing beside the traveler, lamp glowing gently at your feet, inner light warming your heart, the night embracing you in calm, and gratitude flowing into every tired corner of your being. This is the beginning of rest. This is the promise of peace. This is the nearness that sustains your spirit through the deepest night. Let your breath soften once more. Let gratitude breathe through you like a warm tide. Let the night cradle you, held, loved, guided. The night has reached its gentlest ending, a deep, velvety calm that feels as though the world has finally settled into the softest version of itself. The traveler steps into an open stretch of the path, where shadows loosen, where the air grows warm, where the night sky expands wide above, vast, peaceful, filled with quiet stars that shine like distant lamps placed in the heavens. The lamp still glows near the traveler's feet, its small circle of golden light moving gently across the earth, and the inner light, warm, steady, tender, glows behind the ribs with a peace deeper than anything the traveler felt when he began this journey. This is the final stretch, the peaceful closure, where guidance becomes rest, and rest becomes trust. The traveler stops walking. Not out of uncertainty, but because the heart has reached a place of stillness. A place where the soul feels full of peace, full of gratitude, full of quiet assurance that no matter how dark the world becomes, there will always be a lamp for the feet, and a light within for the path. He sets the lamp gently on the ground. Its glow pools like warm honey over the dust, touching the stones with gentle gold, forming a small sanctuary of light around him. He looks at his hands, no longer trembling, no longer searching, held by peace so soft it feels like a blanket across the bones. He closes his eyes. The night breathes around him, a slow, calming rhythm that matches the rise and fall of his chest, as though creation itself is whispering, "Rest now, you are safe, you are guided, you are held." A memory rises, perhaps the oldest one of all. He remembers being a small child, falling asleep near the soft glow of a single lamp in his family's home. The warmth of that flame had made him feel protected, watched over, comforted by something beyond understanding. And now, standing here on this night-wrapped path, he realizes the same presence that watched over him then, has watched over him every moment since. In the light, in the darkness, in the straight roads, in the curved ones, through uncertainty, through clarity, through quiet, through rest. God has been the lamp to his feet. God has been the light to his path. God has been the warmth behind his ribs. God has been the presence guiding each step, even when the traveler could not see, even when he could not feel, even when he only had enough light for the inch of earth beneath him. Another image unfolds. The traveler imagines all the people across generations who have whispered this same verse into the night. Worn feet walking ancient roads, young hearts praying for direction, old souls leaning on memories of God's faithfulness, all carrying lamps of their own, all guided by a light that never changes, never vanishes, never fails. There is something beautiful in knowing he is not alone in this journey. Not alone in needing light. Not alone in walking through darkness. Not alone in trusting step by step. He is part of a long line of souls guided by the same faithful hand, the same gentle flame, the same eternal presence. This part of the story now turns tenderly toward your heart, here, in this soft ending of the night. You have walked this entire journey with the traveler, step by step, breath by breath, light by gentle light. And now, in this final moment, you are invited not to think, not to question, not to worry about tomorrow, but simply to rest. To let your heart settle into peace. To feel the warmth inside your chest. To trust the lamp at your feet. To surrender the unknown future into hands far gentler than your own. Take a long, slow breath. Let it fill you with warm, quiet light. Then exhale, letting every last worry drift out like dust on a peaceful wind. You are safe. You are guided. You are held tonight. Let your thoughts soften. Let your body sink deeper into rest. Let the inner light glow quietly within you. A reminder that God's presence goes with you into sleep, into morning, into the days ahead. The traveler lifts the lamp one last time, not to walk further, but simply to admire its gentle glow, a symbol of guidance, a symbol of faithfulness, a symbol of the God who never leaves his children wandering in the dark. He whispers a final breath of gratitude into the night, then lets the lamp rest once more at his feet, knowing the light will guide him again when morning comes. Let this peace wrap around you now, soft as lamplight, steady as God's love, warm as rest after a long journey, inviting your heart into the gentlest sleep. Good night, and rest deeply in the light that never fades.